Today I'm going to be teaching you the sun salutation. In Sanskrit, the sun salutation is known as the Surya Namaskar, which literally means sun greeting. I'm also going to be teaching you the 3 movements of the spine that we should always warm up with when we begin a yoga class. Before we get started with the physical postures, I'd like to introduce you to yoga props. These are some of the common yoga props that you might find in a studio. You likely will not find all of these in a gym setting, and if you have a home practice, you certainly would benefit from having these props with you. The first, and what I feel is the most important, is what's called a yoga block. Yoga blocks can be used for a variety of different ways, or in a variety of different ways for a variety of different purposes. I like to have 2 yoga blocks, and I recommend to all my students that they as well have 2 yoga blocks. However, if you only have access to 1 or no yoga blocks, there are also some different things that we can use and some different modifications. Yoga blocks also come in different sizes. The second prop that I like to use and recommend is the yoga bolster. And yoga bolsters come in different sizes. This is an oblong yoga bolster. It's very firm. It can be used for restorative yoga. It can also be used for yin yoga. And we'll get into the different types of yoga as the semester progresses. This is a larger bolster. Here is one that's smaller and a little less firm. So you can have different types of bolsters. You might even find some that look like pillows in yoga classes. You don't have to have these to be part of the course. You can use a pillow or even some other soft object as a bolster. An eye pillow is beneficial in Shavasana and restorative yoga. I like to suggest that each student have his or her own personal eye pillow to avoid spreading any type of bacteria or disease. And finally, what I have on hand is a yoga blanket. Yoga blankets are excellent for using with certain props. They're also nice to have for Shavasana. This is a heavier blanket, and it creates a sensation of comfort while I'm in Shavasana. So for me, if a room is very hot, I still like to have a blanket with me, but everyone is different. What I do not have with me are yoga straps. They're all in my classroom, and the school has been closed, so I can't get to them. But a sock or a belt can be used in place of a yoga strap. So while you may not have these props, I will be demonstrating how you can use them so that in the future, if you go to a class where they are available, or if you'd like to incorporate them into your home practice, you can do so. You can also order them online through Amazon and some other websites. So I'm going to place my props out of the way, and I'm going to begin today by teaching you what is called a mountain pose. A mountain pose, the Sanskrit word for that is Tadasana. Tada means mountain, and asana means posture. It is the first pose that we teach in yoga because all other yoga poses are based on how we do mountain pose. So I'm going to begin by facing you. I won't be facing you with all of the postures, and I'm going to back my mat up a little bit so that I can get into the camera. And I'm going to come to a standing position. My feet can be equal apart or a little closer. I personally like to put my big toes together with my heels slightly apart. Other people prefer hip width. Now keep in mind, hip width is from the hip bones to the ankles. It's not with your feet wide like this. So be mindful that we're not focusing on the outer hip, but our hip joint. So whatever's comfortable for you, find whatever works. And come to a standing position and begin to rock forward and back on your feet. And just get a sense of your feet connecting to the mat. And imagine that there are 2 points in the front of your foot and 2 points in the back. And I'd like to invite you to distribute the weight evenly among those 4 points. And once you feel like you've done so, come to stillness. Feel the 4 points connecting to the mat. Look down at your toes, lift them up, and spread them nice and wide. From here, remember to keep your knees soft. Never lock your knees out like this. So you're going to keep soft knees. And I'd like for you to take your fist and place your fist in your low back and gently push your low back into your fist. When you do that, what's going to happen is a pelvic tilt. You're going to push forward and down and engage your core. Now, we're not sucking in our belly, so continue to breathe in a comfortable way. Relax your abdomen, but keep that pelvic tilt so that from the side, you're looking like this. The next thing I'd like for you to do is to inhale and roll your shoulders up towards your ears, and then exhale your shoulders back and down, pulling your shoulder blades toward each other. So from behind, it would look like this. And finally, I'd like to invite you to slightly tuck your chin, to lengthen the back of your neck, and then extend the crown of the head toward the ceiling. Your palms are facing forward. Your core is engaged. Your knees are soft. Perhaps your eyes are closed. And we've now achieved mountain pose. So keep in mind, regardless of what foundation or base the part of your body is that's touching the floor, you also always want to imagine mountain pose. So if you're seated, mountain pose from the sits bones to the crown of the head. If you're in a balancing pose, mountain pose from your balancing foot all the way to the crown of the head. You will hear me say, think mountain pose many times this semester. So remember, equal weight at the foundation, engaged core, soft knees, slightly tucked chin, shoulder blades back and down, and lengthening the crown of the head toward the ceiling. Next, I'd like to invite you to learn what we call the sun salutation. And the sun salutation, also known as Surya Namaskar, was practiced in India thousands of years ago. And when people would wake up in the morning, they would go outside to greet the sun. The purpose of the sun salutation is to energize the body and get it ready for the day's activities. It's a masculine pose, or it's a masculine series of poses to help strengthen the body, to heat it up, and to energize it for the day. So when we think of the sun in yoga, we think of masculine, the masculine aspects of yoga. When we think of the moon in yoga, we think of the feminine aspects of yoga. So I'm going to teach you the sun salutation today, sun salutation A, which is composed of several poses linked together with the breath. We've learned the Durga breath. So as we're breathing, I'd like for you to be really conscious of how you're inhaling and exhaling. And I'm going to be cueing you. And for some of you, this may be difficult, but just do the best you can. Remember, this is not a comparison. There's no right or wrong way to do it. I'll be teaching you the poses as we go through. Just do the best you can. So to begin sun salutation A, I'm going to step to the top of my mat. I'm going to place 2 blocks at the front of my mat, one on each side. And I'm going to engage and start with mountain pose. I'm going to find the four corners of both feet. I'm going to engage my core. I'm going to keep my knees soft and bring my shoulder blades back and down. Slightly tuck my chin and lengthen the crown of my head toward the ceiling. I'm going to establish my three-part breath and become conscious of my breathing. From here, I'm going to inhale my arms up over my head and slightly arch my back. And then exhale my arms down the side, coming back to mountain pose, Tadasana. I'm going to inhale into extended mountain. This is extended mountain. And exhale into mountain. Inhale, extended mountain. And exhale, mountain. One more time. Inhale, extended mountain. And exhale, mountain. I'm going to move my mat back slightly so that you can see my hands. As we add on, I'm going to have my blocks available in order to raise the floor to meet my hands because it's early in the practice and my hamstrings are tight. So starting in mountain pose, I'm going to take an inhale into extended mountain, Urdhva Hastasana. And then on the exhale, I'm going to hinge from my hips. And I'm going to fold forward into what we call Uttanasana, forward fold. I'm going to rest my hands on my blocks and let my head dangle and hang. I'm going to keep my knees soft. And then, softening my knees even more, I'm going to inhale up into extended mountain, Urdhva Hastasana. And then exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Softening the knees, I'm going to inhale up, extended mountain. And once again, exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. From here, I'm going to add on. I'm going to inhale and lift halfway. Here, I'm going to straighten my legs slightly. I'm going to push my booty back. And I'm going to extend the crown of my head forward so that I'm getting a nice stretch in my hamstrings. And then, on the exhale, take it back to forward fold. Inhale, extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. And then extended mountain once again. And then taking it back to mountain pose. Now let's put that all together with the Sanskrit. Finding Tadasana, mountain pose. Take an inhale into Urdhva Hastasana, extended mountain. Exhaling Uttanasana, forward fold. Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale Uttanasana with soft knees, forward fold. Extended mountain, Urdhva Hastasana. Palms together, exhale, Samastitihi, equal balance. Coming to Tadasana. That's what is known as half sun salutation A. We're going to add on and do the full sun salutation A now. So I'm going to find mountain pose Tadasana. I'm going to find my breath. On an inhale, I'm going to take Urdhva Hastasana, extended mountain. On the exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold with soft knees. Inhaling into Urdhva Hastasana, I lift halfway. Now on the exhale, I'm going to bend my knees, plant my hands on the mat, and step back into plank pose. Now from here, I want to drop to my knees. Most people need to drop to their knees because their core may not be strong enough to hold plank on the toes. So for beginners, we're going to drop to our knees. We're going to shift forward, and we're going to lower down with our elbows shaving the side body all the way to the floor. Release the feet, and inhale into cobra pose. From here, we're going to tuck the toes and take downward facing dog. Downward facing dog is an inverted V. It is not a push-up with your butt up in the air. It's not a shortened stance of forward fold. It's an inverted V. Our heels are pressing down towards the mat. Our knees are soft. Our head is relaxed between our upper arms. Our hands are pressing down and forward. Our toes are hip and our feet are hip width apart with the toes facing forward. From here, I'm going to look forward and I'm going to step to the front of the mat. Now, some of you may take many steps, others of you might just need one step. And I'm going to come back to forward fold. I'm going to halfway lift. I'm going to exhale and fold back into Uttanasana, and then inhale to extended mountain. Exhaling, Samastitihi to Tadasana. So let's put that all together. Finding a strong mountain pose, finding your breath. Take an inhale into extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, drop to your knees and lower down. This is called Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale into Cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. On your inhale, step to the top of the mat and lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, extended mountain. Let's do it one more time. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, drop to your knees, shift forward, lower down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Release your feet. Inhale, Bhujangasana, Cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step to the top of the mat, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, extended mountain. Exhale, Samastitihi to mountain pose. And there we have a sun salutation A. When we practice on Thursday, we're going to do a full yoga class. What I'd like for you to do is really practice your Durga breathing over the next several days, especially when you need to relax, or you're stressed out and something is going on. This is stressful times for everyone. Practice your Durga breath and practice your sun salutation A, because as we progress through our physical practice, we're going to be adding on to the flow with sun salutation A. If you have any questions, please email me. Let me know what your questions are, and I will see you on Thursday.